Hoi An might be famous for its lanterns, but the food here is arguably even better. Over 3 days in the old town, we set ourselves a challenge. Try every local dish we could find. From city-exclusive noodle soups and street food snails that required a local's lesson, to tabletop charcoal grills and $1 desserts. This is everything we ate in Hoi An. And we're starting with one of Vietnam's most famous dishes. Our first stop was Pho Xua. Pho is probably the most famous Vietnamese dish in the world. The broth is simmered for hours with star anise, cinnamon, and cloves. It arrives steaming hot, loaded with thin slices of beef, soft rice noodles, and fresh herbs. The broth is rich yet surprisingly light. At 70,000 Vietnamese dong, about $3, it's a steal. But because we're in Hoi An, there was another noodle dish we absolutely had to try, and it's something you rarely find anywhere else. That dish is Cao Lầu. Cao Lầu actually originated here in Hoi An centuries ago, when the town was a major trading port. The noodles are thicker and chewier than pho. They're topped with slices of pork, crispy crackers, and fresh herbs. Our bowl costs 60,000 Vietnamese dong. The textures are what makes this dish special. Chewy noodles, crunchy toppings, and fragrant herbs. It's an absolute local staple. But after 2 noodle dishes, we needed something refreshing. The afternoon heat in Hoi An can be intense. Luckily, fresh coconuts are everywhere. We stopped at a small street stall where she chopped open the coconut right in front of us. And it only cost 20,000 Vietnamese dong. That's less than $1. But Hoi An also has a dessert locals love in the afternoon. Later, we found a small dessert stall called Che Hai Chiem. They specialize in che, often translated as Vietnamese sweet soup. It usually includes beans, jelly, coconut milk, and crushed ice. It was creamy, sweet, and really comforting in the heat. We sat outside on small chairs, watching bikes pass by and locals stopping for dessert. Next up is a snack we've come to absolutely love, banh mi. It's Vietnam's take on a sandwich influenced by French baguettes, but it's filled with Vietnamese flavors. Usually a mix of meats, pickled vegetables, herbs, chili, and sauce. Hoi An's bread stays light and crisp, and the fillings stay balanced instead of overpowering. What's nice is that banh mi is everywhere in Hoi An. Many cafes and night market stalls offer their own versions. All of them were honestly delicious. But as the sun started setting, the entire food scene in Hoi An completely changed, and we ended up trying one of the strangest street foods of the trip. One of the most interesting things we saw everywhere was snails served with herbs and rice paper. When the food arrived, we honestly had no idea how to eat it. The table suddenly filled with herbs, rice paper, grilled pork, and snails. So we ended up watching the locals next to us. They wrapped everything together like a fresh spring roll. Herbs, pork, snails, all in one bite. Once we tried it, the flavors actually made perfect sense. It was delicious, but we still had a big dinner planned. And Hoi An has a dish locals are incredibly proud of. For dinner, we went to Cúm Ga Giếng Đình. This place was packed. Hoi An is famous for chicken rice. The rice is cooked in chicken broth and turmeric, giving it its bright yellow color. Our chicken rice cost 40,000 Vietnamese dong, and we also ordered a half chicken platter for 250,000. The staff gave us a quick lesson on how to eat like a local, mixing the savory chicken and fragrant rice with fresh herbs, sauces, and crunchy vegetables for the perfect bite. It became one of our favorite dishes during the trip. But the most fun meal of the night was still ahead. Later, we found a small family-run restaurant called BBQ Nong Hoi. Instead of cooking in the kitchen, they brought out a clay pot filled with charcoal and placed a grill right on our table. We went all out with the menu, ordering everything from spicy pork ribs to beef-wrapped mushrooms and grilled oysters. It was a fun interactive experience, with the charcoal giving everything a perfect smoky finish. But before ending the night, we still had room for one last street snack. While walking through the night market, we spotted a stall making banana pancakes. The vendor poured batter onto a hot griddle, topped it with sliced bananas, and finished it with a generous drizzle of chocolate syrup. At 10,000 Vietnamese dong, about 40 cents, it was the perfect late night snack. But before heading back to the hotel, we made one final stop. We passed by a bakery with trays of fresh croissants still on display. Vietnam actually has a strong baking culture because of its French colonial history, with everything from croissants to soft sponge cakes starting at just $1 to $2. These bakeries are a must visit. We grabbed some pastries for the next morning, which we ended up enjoying at the hotel with our Vietnamese coffee. If you enjoyed this Hoi An food tour, like the video and follow for more travel and food guides. And let us know which dish you'd want to try first.